If you're anything like me and my family, immediately you get your COPR, the first thing you are is excited. It's finally here. But then you realize quickly that it's now real and you now have to look for a place to stay, a place where you and your family are going to stay for the first few days and months or years after you arrive. We had originally planned to do a soft landing and we looked for an Airbnb that would last us a full month. So the Airbnb we rented was really nice. It had really nice pictures, great reviews, and it looked like a really nice place. And actually it was. However, there's something that we had not researched properly, and it's the neighborhood. So the neighborhood that we found was a neighborhood that was a bit sketchy. It had a lot of things that would cause anyone who is new in an area to be anxious. In the very first week, we had been chased down by a dog. We had encountered people doing dumpster dives, so going through trash, homeless people going through trash. We had encountered people sitting on the streets, which generally may not be a good sign for a place where you're living. And this made us a bit anxious. Again, part of this anxiety was drawn from the fact that you could visibly see that there was drug use in some of those places as we were walking. The other thing that we were warned about by a neighbor was for us to be careful about walking around, even during the day, because it may be a bit unsafe. This is something we had not really seen when we were looking online. So I was imagining and I was thinking to myself, what if we had rented this place for a full year, had gotten a full year lease? Then it would have been quite a challenge to actually either get out of that lease, would have lost money. And so accidentally, it was useful that we rented that place for a short while because it allowed us to figure out and discover that there are neighborhoods in Canada that are not that great. Obviously, it was not like a completely terrible place to live and there are people who live there, but it was not a place that was appropriate for us, especially because we are a young family, we have a young daughter, and it's completely new to us. There's nothing else that we've experienced about Canada apart from this place that we've landed. The other challenge we encountered is that it was very difficult to find a daycare that had spots for infants. The reason why this is important is because daycares need to be close to where you live. You do not want to have to do a commute to the other side of town to drop your baby off to a daycare, then go to your workplace. You probably want your daycare to be somewhere near where you live. And this for us was a big thing that impacted our decision in where we were going to live, because out of the many places we called very, very many places, dozens of places, and only 2 had spots available for our daughter. And that is eventually what caused us to choose where we live today. If you have a young baby or other commitments like those, if you commit yourself to a lease very early on and you discover some things that force you to be on a different side of town every day, then it's going to probably become very difficult. For instance, work. Let's say your work is going to be on the other side of town. It probably would be better for you to find a place nearby there than where you currently have leased. And therefore, that's the reason why getting a lease is something you want to delay. Don't do it immediately you arrive. Having an entire month to look for an apartment gave us the option of being picky. The fact that we had an entire month and we had an Airbnb that had been booked for an entire month means that we could look around and find places that we liked, look around and find apartments that suited our needs, were nearby what we needed, were nearby amenities that we liked, were in a neighborhood that we liked, and gave us a lot of peace of mind. The other thing that this provided us was that we could move at our own schedule. We could come to our new apartment early, or we could wait until our Airbnb stay was done before we move. So meaning that we could start shopping for furniture that suited our room or the place we had rented before having to move out of the Airbnb that we were in. And that was really convenient. One of the things we really struggled with was choosing a city where we would start our lives in Canada. In this video, I explain why we chose Saskatoon and our feelings so far about Saskatoon now that we've been here for a couple of months.